If INEC lawyers do not know the difference between obiter dicta and ratio decidency, I think they should throw in their letter of resignation. The Nenadi Usman was never part of that matter, Benicio. It's not part of the judgment. The judgment was just that every judgment that has affirmed, that made mention of Abure and national chairman, they said this attack. The Supreme Court was very clear that this decision remain internal affairs of the political party. They are now making obiter dicta compulsory in law of Nigeria, and that is why I will even be calling on the Attorney General. I think they need to flush out some bad against that legal department of finance. You don't just think because you are a lawyer, we can just be deceived. I am making that definition to them now that whether they are senior advocate or they are junior lawyer, that obiter dicta is what the judges made mention about. The court did not say the tenure of any executive has expired.
You see how stupid, you see how clannish, you see how stupid, how ignorant, and how clannish Abure has turned himself into. This same Abure, immediately the Supreme Court judgment was delivered, was the one calling on INEC to implement the judgment of the Supreme Court. Arabambi came out and opened his filthy mouth and said that now INEC is a body to reckon with. But suddenly INEC has gone back to the
government. They're not reckoning again now. INEC no agree recognize the candidates then we BC Labour Party put forward. Of course, the Abure team put forward for inside the election, the by-elections, and when they come up right now. And that one don't make the Labour Party be vexed well, but they very furious. So not be smart. President to say like, you know, I'm just bring Tatako for you. So let me balance well and just do this gist. So as I am talking to you right now, in fact, Arabambi was in an interview earlier today in a News Central. He been the vex, in the para for inside the interview. He said that is unconstitutional. How can INEC do that kind of thing? INEC cannot do that kind of thing. How can they not recognize our people? How can people don't look at it and win now for Peter Obi? The leadership of the Labour Party don't frown at the omission by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of its candidates for the August 16, 2025 by-election. Now, the party describes the omission as unlawful, surprising, and an abuse of power by the commission. Say, INEC the abuse power. Prince Francis, I don't know whether they hear me. INEC the abuse power. Now, as a registered political party in Nigeria, Labour Party is very much aware of its rights as specified in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electoral Act 2022 as amended as regards to its powers to sponsor candidates in elections. The party is also aware that the INEC has no powers to either stop it from sponsoring candidates nor cherry pick elections where it deems fit for our party to field candidates. So it is on record that no court in Nigeria, including the Supreme Court, has recognized the present leadership of the party. It is also a fact that the April 4, 2025 judgment of the Supreme Court ruled only on the lack of the jurisdiction of the lower court, that is the appeal court. The Supreme Court did not rule on the substantive matter as courts, including the Supreme Court, is barred from entertaining cases on the internal matters of political party. So because of that, say INEC no get the temerity, the mind, the Arabambi, they don't get the power to do what they do. The Supreme Court, in its wisdom, rules that parties should resolve its problems within the available mechanism as provided by its constitution. Now, at no point did the Supreme Court empower INEC to interfere with the internal matters of the political party. INEC, being a regulatory body, must limit itself to the provision of the laws that institutes or instituted it. INEC cannot stop political parties from fielding candidates in an election provided the political parties abided by the requirements of the Electoral Act. Now, we hear saying when INEC will give reason why they say they no field them. They don't put their candidates, so they cite the Supreme Court judgment. So further, now they vex more, they talk, say, we are, by this statement, asking INEC to enlist our duly nominated candidates for the August 16 by-elections without further delay, and also refrain from interfering with the internal matters of the Labour Party. INEC cannot arrogates to itself the powers of the courts or give different interpretation to a clear judgment of the apex court. Now, the actions of the INEC, if not dismissed or if not redressed immediately, will be challenged. The Labour Party, as a responsible organization, will do everything within the laws to ensure that all efforts of INEC to intimidate, harass, and ridicule the Labour Party will be resisted. The Labour Party has built reputation in the last 23 years as a party of the masses. They don't talk finish, then sign them. Who sign them? Obiora for your brother, and then sign them. So INEC cites.
You know, Wiki has brought some form of new. Calm down.
Sir,
okay. Talk.
One Kenneth Asogwa Usman come talk. Say we be person who put map for talk for them. Say that it's unfortunate that the Labour Party's candidates under Abure are missing from the list. It's heartwarming to see that INEC is beginning to effect the Supreme Court judgment, which affirmed Senator Nenadi Usman as the authentic chairman of the Labour Party. We, all of us, join together for this other thing, urge INEC to step in by officially recognizing Senator Nenadi Usman as part of the party. Now, INEC on their own, they talk, say, then they cite the Supreme Court judgment of April, say, now they decide for what's happening. So this one, it be like, say, sir, are you laughing?
You know.
It be like say go long well because Arabambi was in an interview with a television station earlier today. Go play what Arabambi talk for inside that interview.
If INEC lawyers do not know the difference between obiter dicta and ratio decidency, I think they should throw in their letter of resignation. And I'm also be calling on the NBA president. I think they need to do a lot for these lawyers. I think some of them, seem to be going outside, the dictates or whatever they are taught in law school. Supreme Court was very clear that this decision remain internal affairs of the political party. They are now making obiter dicta compulsory in law of Nigeria, and that is why I will be calling on the Attorney General. I think they need to flush out some badly against that legal department of finance. You don't just think because you are a lawyer, we can just be deceived. I am making that definition to them now that whether they are senior advocate or they are junior lawyer, that obiter dicta is what the judges made mention about. The court did not say the tenure of any executive has expired. If any lawyer will show me where the court says so, I will give that lawyer 1 million, and if there is no, that lawyer should be bureau. Please, I challenge any lawyer in that INEC or even from the opposite side, this Nenadi, they should come on here with that judgment and show us where the court in the judgment said we hereby decided and follow. Our judgment is that tenure has expired because the court lacks jurisdiction to pronounce tenure of a party, of an executive has expired because it is internal affairs of that political party. And they just try to play their script. And I will be calling on the president of Nigeria to call Mahmoud to order. Mahmoud should not assume jurisdiction over what he lacks the power to do. Mahmoud cannot choose who is the national chairman of the Labour Party. He cannot. Now, regarding that primary they are talking about, let me tell you, Section 82 of the Electoral stipulated that political party, the national chairman and national secretary shall give INEC 21-day notice for convention and congresses or primary. Section 82.5 says, failure of a party to give INEC notices shall render the outcome. So we will be going to court because the party wrote to them concerning the primary, the letter was acknowledged. I bet you with them anything, the court will give them in a favor. Because the shall in the section 82.1 is that we must give 21-day notice. But it's not compulsory for INEC to attend. It is there in the Electoral Act. So if INEC want to bring their own rule and regulation over the Constitution of Nigeria against section 1 of the Constitution, then we will go and try that in court. But I want the INEC lawyers to know that we are not babies. We know the law, even if some of them are not lawyers, that what they are proceeding there is called obiter dicta. It is not compulsory, it is passive, it is not compulsory, it is not binding on
in the vex. He said, no. The court does not have, INEC does not have, it is even quote law. In quote legal text.
Precious. You see how stupid, you see how clannish. Let me borrow from our new elder statesman. You see how stupid, how ignorant, and how clannish Abure has turned himself into. If you recall, this same Abure immediately the Supreme Court judgment was delivered, was the one calling on INEC to implement the judgment of the Supreme Court. Because he felt that there was a meeting that was called in which he was invited, and he felt that, yes, that is the real meaning, or that is the implementation of that ruling. Immediately after that, Arabambi came out and opened his filthy mouth and said that now INEC is a body to reckon with. But suddenly, INEC has gone back to the drawing board.
They're not reckoning again now.
Yes, now, INEC has gone back to the drawing board. They forget that INEC has its own internal legal team. And the legal team has looked at that judgment holistically. There's a clause people keep missing in that judgment. It says nobody should interfere in the internal mechanism of the party. Is it not what it says? That the party should go and resolve. And people are not thinking, people are not asking questions. The case in question, who took it to court? Was it not Nenadi Usman?
Yes.
And what were they challenging? They were challenging the fact that there has been a caucus meeting. And the party has met and said that we no longer want this man as our leader. But Abure went from High Court to Appeal Court and got frivolous judgment that gave him a staying power. And that was why the Supreme Court said that these lower courts have no right to interfere. And what is the internal mechanism of the party? The party has held a meeting and said, we don't want you as our chairman. And the party went ahead to appoint a caretaker committee. And I kept saying, the leader of the party as of today is Otti, the governor of Abia State.
Because he's the highest office holder in the party.
Good. That is why Charles Soludo, the solution. The man who does not believe in one term. The man who does not understand that the gray hair on his hair is wisdom. That has allowed a young small boy like Peter Obi to rubbish him. That is why he had the temerity to tell you that ABGA is endorsing Mohamed Tinubu 2027. And nobody questioned it. Because that is the supremacy of the party. That is how parties work. Abure, Apapa, and Arabambi, they are trying to live in illusion. They don't want to face the fact. They don't want to face the reality. And that the reality is that the governor of Abia State, as of today, is the leader of the party. So if they have held a meeting with him present as the leader of the party, and they say, chairman, step down, the honorable thing is to step down. So now suddenly INEC has become a clueless organization. INEC has become useless and stupid just like them. So they believe that stupidity must reign supreme. That's what they believe in. Now that INEC, suddenly the spirit of doing the right thing has enveloped INEC. And INEC is doing the right thing. Now INEC has become an organ that should be, talked down on. See how your politicians are? And then you need to ask a question. What is it about the party chairmanship that Abure wants to die? What is it? You're not in power. And you want to die. Abure wants to be chairman for life. That's the question we need to ask. Abure needs to come and tell Nigerians what it is about, being the chairman of Labour Party, that is, he's bent on, doing everything to remain there as the party chairman. So for me, I give kudos to INEC for doing the right thing. Let them go back to their drawing board. What INEC has done what it should do, and that is the right thing they should do. We must begin to obey the rulings of our courts if Nigeria has to move forward.